anymore.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. Shabbat shalom. Happy Sabbath. First off, giving our praises to the Most High and to His Son, Yahweh Shah. Today's class is being an Israelite is a lifestyle. Like we always bring out, we always want to touch on things that relate in our everyday lives. Because a lot of times, brothers, sisters, sometimes too, get it misunderstand. We not an Israelite part-time. We're an Israelite all the time.
That's right.
And that's one thing we got to concentrate on a daily basis. When we bring out some of these precepts, being an Israelite is more than just going out there teaching and pulling the fruit precepts and reading the fruit precepts. We got to be an Israelite 24/7, 7 days a week, 360. It doesn't stop. So we're gonna touch on some things to let us know that we got to do this throughout our whole lives.
That's right.
Every day. Give me First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 43. Like we said, we want brothers to even brothers and sisters out there take notes. Like I do, I write in my Bible, highlight in your Bible. So when you read in your Bible, you want to cut up a Christian 7-day Adventist, hey, it's right there in your scriptures, man. Because a lot of times if you're not good at retaining it, that's what the highlighters and taking notes is for. It's very important, because we here to help build up. Read that.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 43. Then said one to another. They said one to another.
Now, this is during the Maccabean time when we was revolting against the Romans, against the Greeks. Read that again.
They said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people.
So Judas Maccabees and his brothers, guess what? They came together in unity with the other brothers. And they said, read that again. Let us what?
Let us restore the decayed state of our people.
They wanted to restore the decayed estate of our people. And it's similar to what we're doing today. We're trying to restore the decayed estate of our people because we in a lower situation. We the tail and all the other nations is the head. So we're trying to restore that. And guess what? We restore that through God's laws. That's the only thing that gives us life. That's the only thing that restores us. Read on up.
And let us fight for our people.
And what are we doing out there on those corners?
And let us fight for our people.
Guess what? When we out there on those corners, we out there fighting for our people. We out there fighting to get them restored to God's chosen people, to being the best people on the planet once again. Read on up.
And the sanctuary.
And the sanctuary. We're fighting to get that back again. Lord's will, the Most High send Yahweh Shai any day now, man. We have to pray constantly fast on that He send Yahweh Shai and shorten the time, So that's what we're going to touch on today. Give me 2nd Ezra chapter 14 and verse 13. Restoring the decayed estate of our people, making this a lifestyle to come back to the Most High God.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 13. Now therefore set thine house in order.
Read that again.
Now therefore set thine house in order.
So the Most High, the first thing to having an Israelite lifestyle is, guess what? Setting your house in order. And that can touch, guess what? That house can go 2 or 3 folds. The first one is your own body. That's the first house of the Most High God, where He dwells. So you want to make sure you got yourself in order first to walk in the Israelite lifestyle. Then the second one, guess, is your household, your wives, your children. That's the next step. You have to get yourself in order first, though. Read that again.
Now therefore set thine house in order.
Set your house in order. Line up with the scriptures. Go through the scriptures and see what you're not doing. Hey, if you're having problems with it, that's what brothers in leadership is for, to pull the precepts to help get you right.
That's right.
Read on up.
And reprove thy people.
And do what?
And reprove thy people.
And correct thy people. Guess what? The scriptures is also to correct yourself. It's very important. We use the scriptures to correct ourselves and to correct the congregation, the body. This is how we restore the decayed estate of our people. Read on up. You got something? Go ahead up.
Comfort such of them as be in trouble.
And guess what? The scriptures is here to comfort us when we in trouble. Go through the scriptures. That's why it tells us in Romans chapter 15, verse 4. take comfort in the scriptures. You know, don't lean on your own understanding. That's where the problem come in at, and that's where you start walking outside of being an Israelite lifestyle, when you're leaning on your own understanding, thinking that you know the problem, you can fix it on your own. Guess what? Let the Most High God fix the problem.
That's right. Let me get a precept.
Go ahead,
Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 23. Because I'm coming out with some heavy stuff, man. You know, what we was reading just a minute ago, it said, comfort such of them as be in trouble. That's the point that we want to touch on, because sometimes people don't know which season they in. Mm-hmm. See, sometimes you might be in the season of mourning, you might be in the season of happiness, you might be in the season of growth. You got to know what season you in. Mm-hmm. Read that up.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 23. A man had joy by the answer of his mouth.
He said the man had joy by the answer of his mouth. See, because the thing is, the Lord gave us the ear of the learned and the tongue of the learned, so we can be able to decipher and discern through which the season that we in. Read on.
And a word, and a word spoken in due season.
He said, and a word spoken in due season. No matter what season you're in, if I can speak the word that pertains to your season, it gives you comfort. Read on.
How good is it?
He said, how good is it? Because that word that it is giving you hope, is giving you joy, is giving you understanding that the Most High God is still for you, and you can still walk this walk.
And like I said, that's a good point, because we always want to be positive when we're walking in this truth. Even though the Most High God puts us through trials, He want to see how you gonna handle it. You know, and that's the building up your spirit. So the first thing, like we say, you want to get yourself in order. Then you want to get your wives in order. Then you want to get your children in order. And then guess what? That dictates to the congregation, because when everybody is on that same plan, we all come together in order. That's what the Most High God is all about. He's all about order. Give me 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1.
Let me finish that.
Oh, go ahead.
And now renounce corruption.
Read that again.
And now renounce corruption.
Because when we restore the decay, the state of our people, we renounce corruption.
That's right.
When you walking in the lifestyle of it as an Israelite, guess what? You renounce all corruption. You don't do the things that you did before you knew that you was an Israelite. You know, you don't be selling those drugs. You don't be whoremongering. You don't be staying all out in the nights of day. Not God in your household. Not taking care of your wife, your children. You don't do these things anymore. So it's very heed that we take heed to the commandments, man. This is what's gonna build us up. Go ahead. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1.
The book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds.
Read that from the top again.
This second epistle, beloved.
This second letter, read on up.
I now write unto you.
Hold up. Read that from the top again. I'm sorry.
This second epistle, beloved.
Be who?
Beloved.
Guess what? Israel is the beloved of the Most High God. Give me, what is that precept in Baruch? Chapter 4, verse 1. Let's get who the beloved is of the Most High God. Is that what I want? No, I want Baruch chapter 3, verse 36.
The book of Baruch chapter 3 and verse 36. He had found out all the ways of the knowledge and had given it unto Jacob.
So guess what? The Most High found out all the ways. He know all the ways of knowledge, and He gave all that knowledge unto the Israelites. That's why we the best singers, the smartest, the strongest, the fastest. The Most High found out all of these things and had given it unto us. Read on.
His servant.
His what?
His servant.
Read on.
And to Israel, his beloved.
Who is his beloved?
Israel, his beloved.
Israel is the beloved of the Most High God. So when John is writing in this epistle, guess what? He's writing to the Israelites. It's not to all nations, kindreds, and tongues. Let's go back to 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1.
The book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1. This second epistle, beloved,
talking about Israel, read on.
I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance.
Most High God is trying to stir up our pure minds by way of remembrance. That's what these scriptures is all about. Seeing what our forefathers went through, learning what not to do, and guess what? Learning what to do.
That's right.
You know, that's the whole thing. The Bible is simple if only our people would keep it simple. You know, don't lean to your vain thoughts or your own understanding. Read on up.
That ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets.
Guess what? We have to always be mindful of the words that were spoken by the prophets. Ezekiel, Nehemiah, Samuel, Joshua, Moses, Christ. We have to be mindful of these things because guess what? They was walking in that lifestyle perfect.
That's right.
So guess what? We ought to follow the examples. You know, we have to follow these examples. Read on up.
And of the commandments of us, the apostles,
and the commandments of us, the apostles. Read on up.
Of the Lord and Savior.
Of the Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shah. Give me 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 13. Wherefore, gird up thy loins.
Do what?
Gird up thy loins.
Read on.
Of your mind.
Of your heart. We have to gird up our loins. Put on your big boy pants. Sisters, put on your big sister dresses. We have to do these things. Gird up our minds. Read on up.
Be sober.
Do what?
Be sober.
That's spiritually sober and physically sober. Read on up.
And hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Jesus Christ.
We have to pray that, guess what? The Most High God would have mercy on our soul in the end times. That's what we doing. We practicing a righteous rehearsal. Yes, sometimes we're going to mess up, but the thing is not to quit. Get back up on that horse and keep trying.
That's right.
That's what the Most High God wants from us because he knows the things that we go through. You know, he's putting us through them to try us. You know, he want to see if we just gonna let it get the best of us, or is it gonna make us stronger, like Aqua was bringing that in the Wednesday class. Read on now.
As obedient children.
As what?
As obedient children.
As obedient children, because we are the children of the Most High God. Read on now.
Not fashioning yourself according to former lust in your ignorance.
Read that again, huh?
It's like as obedient children, not fashioning yourself according to the former lust in your ignorance.
Because that's what gets us out of the lifestyle as an Israelite, dwelling on the former lust of our ignorance. Because before we got to be an Israelite, we was ignorant in this truth. We didn't think that sisters didn't think that, guess what, not wearing a dress is sin. Brothers didn't think that not wearing a beard is sin. We didn't think nothing to eat a pork chop sandwich. You know, we didn't think it was nothing wrong with smoking weed. But as we get and understand the scriptures, we read, guess what? That don't line up with the Most High God. Mm-hmm. He set those rules and those laws and they're for a purpose, you know, for the sisters. Guess what? Even a dress, you know, when they not doing it, it's judgment for that. That's why they get all type of venereal diseases and uncomfort down there. Guess what? For the men not wearing their beards, the judgment is hair bumps, you know. For eating pork, guess what the judgment is? Gout, high blood pressure, diabetes. You know, the Most High God set these rules and gave these rules to us for our own good. We have to follow them. Read on up.
But as he which had called you is holy.
So he that called us is holy. Yahweh shall. Read on up.
So be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
Read that last part again.
So be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
The Most High God said, be ye holy in all manner of conversation. Like we bring out a lot of prayer. If you don't have anything good to say, guess what? Don't say it at all. You know, our conversations should be holy because when people are hearing what you're saying, guess what? That makes a difference. You know, people hear what you're saying, even though you think they're not paying attention. Guess what? Words don't go out void, just like the Most High scriptures don't go out void. People is hearing what you're saying, and guess what? They judging you by off of what you say.
Right.
So a lot of times you have to check what you say and make sure, guess what? It's a holy convocation because that's a part of being an Israelite lifestyle. You're not going to talk the way that you did before you got in this truth. Conversations is going to be, guess what? Holy, to make people want to listen to you. And more importantly, listen to these commandments and convert themselves.
That's right.
You know, that's the whole thing. You got something up? Go ahead, read on up.
Because it is written.
Because it is written. It's written in the Old Testament. Read on.
Be ye holy.
Be ye what?
Be ye holy.
Be ye separate. Most High, that's what holy means, separate. So the things that the other nations do, guess what? We do not do. That's written in the Old Testament in Leviticus chapter 11, verse 44. You got that out? Bring it up.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 44.
Uh-huh.
For I am the Lord your God.
He is the Lord our God. God is not the God of everybody. He's only the God of the Israelites. Read on.
Ye shall therefore sanctify yourself.
Sanctify. That's going into being holy too. Read on up.
And ye shall be holy.
We shall be holy unto him. That means separate. God separated us from all nations on the face of the planet. Read on.
For I am holy.
For he is what?
For I am holy.
For he is holy. That's what Peter was getting this from. Paul. Read on up.
Neither shall ye defile yourself with any manner of creeping things that creepeth upon the earth.
That creeping, we shouldn't be defiling ourselves with these things. Let's go back. First Peter's chapter. We finished that.
And also, when it said neither to defile yourself with any creeping thing upon the earth, that goes into philosophies too.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the serpent in Eve that beguiled Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Give me Galatians chapter 5, verse 16. Peter. Right. This is another solution to building and walking in the lifestyle of an Israelite. You want to get yourself in order, but guess what? You also, the main thing is getting your spirit in order.
That's right.
That's first and foremost. You have to get your spirit in order. Read that up.
This I say then, walk in the spirit.
Do what?
Walk in the spirit.
Like a lot of times when we on the glide, talking to brothers on the phone, talking to sisters in class, what we always say, stay in the spirit. Walk in the spirit. That means stay in the law, statutes, and commandments. Constantly. Not just sometime, not just when you are here on the Sabbath. You know, not when you just in Wednesday class, but guess what? When you at your job, when you go into the store, when you just out in public, we got to constantly let our light shine.
Also, even when you at home by yourself, there ain't nobody else around.
Exactly.
You still got to walk in that same light, man. Because them angels still recording, no matter if you by yourself or with a group.
Exactly. They always, and we're gonna touch on that precept too. Read that again up.
Then this I say then, walk in the spirit.
Paul is letting us know, guess what? Walk in the spirit. Walk in God's commandments. Read on up.
And ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
When we walking in the spirit, when we walking in God's commandments, you don't fulfill the lust of the flesh. Because your flesh want to do things contrary to your spirit. And we're gonna read that. Read on up.
For the flesh lusted against the spirit.
The flesh goes against your spirit. This body is filthy. You know, your flesh is saying, guess what? I want that pork. But guess what? Your spirit is saying that's breaking God's laws according to Leviticus chapter 11, verse 7. Your flesh is saying whoremonger, saying lust. But your spirit is saying, no, I cannot do that. You know, marriage is honorable and all. There shall be no whores of the daughters of Israel.
That's right.
You know, these are the commandments to help put that lust in check. That's what God's laws is for. Read on up.
And the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other.
These are opposite one to another. That's why Paul said he died daily, and we're going to touch on that. Read on up.
So that ye cannot do the things that ye would.
Because without God's laws, guess what? That's like it is today, running amok. Everything is just totally out of order. The women ruling the household, men not taking their place in rulership, children out of order, all animals, people eating all these filthy animals. That's why the seas look the way that they do. Everything is totally out of order because we're not keeping God's laws as a nation of people. Read on up.
But if ye be led of the spirit.
But if ye be led of the spirit, if you led of God's laws, read on.
Ye are not under the law.
We are not under the law because guess what? You keeping the law. Read on up.
Now the works of the flesh are manifest.
Now he gonna reveal what the works of the flesh is. Read it.
Which are these?
Which are these? Read on.
Adultery.
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 Men sleeping with other women outside of their marriage. And guess what? Women and vice versa. Read on up. Fornication. Sexual desires. Read on. Uncleanliness. You know, going into eating all types of abominable foods. Guess what? Going into the philosophies of the other nations. That can be an uncleanliness. Read on up.
Lasciviousness.
Lascivious. That's strong sexual desires. Brothers out there got porn addictions.
Mm-hmm.
Sister that got porn addictions. You know, because it go both ways. You know, we got to put that stuff in check because guess what? That leads you to commit sin. You know, you shouldn't do those things. Read on up.
Idolatry.
Worshiping that false image of Christ. worshiping the Virgin Mary, all type of idolatries that a lot of our brothers in the northern tribe, guess what, dwell in. Islam, the cobblestone. You know, it goes into a plethora of things. Read on up.
Witchcraft.
Read on up.
Hatred.
Guess what? That's works of the flesh. When you got hatred in your heart for your brother or your sister, that's not of the Most High God. Like we always say, even for brothers that's in other camps, guess what? We still love our brothers, man. We're just doing it from a separate camp. You know, we don't have no hatred toward no brother in any other camp out there. You know, we all got our differences, but guess what? We know that we all Israel, and we know that we have to keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. So it's time we put that hatred out. You got something?
Yeah, that word witchcraft. Witchcraft. If you're rebelling against the spirit or rebelling against the laws, statutes, commandments, you are in witchcraft.
Exactly.
According to this Bible, that is witchcraft. It ain't all about just because you're seeing somebody doing some spells. Just rebelling against the spirit is witchcraft.
Exactly. Matter of fact, let's get that. I'm glad you brought that up. Give me 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 23. I'm glad I brought that up, man. Because, you know, we were dealing with a sister last week out there on the street. Sister had a sister understood the scriptures. And guess what? Sister had a rebellious spirit, man.
And
the most
happy about it.
And
she was
exactly.
She was okay with it. She's right.
It is. It's mind-boggling, because a lot of times I know what they're thinking. They're thinking when they die that they're not going to feel pain. But guess what? Your spirit is going to be on fire forever. Nothing is going to be able to quench that. Read that up.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15 and verse 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft.
Read that again.
For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft.
Just like Brother Maccabee is bringing out, that is as the sin of witchcraft. Rebellion is sin. Most High considers them one and the same. Read on.
And stubbornness is as in iniquity and idolatry.
Guess what? Stubbornness is as sin. When you being stubborn, Most High considers that sin, especially when you got brothers out there that's trying to tell you on how to get your life straight. You know, that's very important. Stubbornness, rebellion, that is sin. Read on.
Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord.
Because that's what that sister was doing. She was rejecting the word of the Lord. Read on.
He had also rejected thee from being king.
That's why he had rejected us. That's why we went into slavery on slave ships. That's why we're on the bottom of society, you know, because we rebellious and a stubborn people. Let's go back up.
And being stubborn. When you're being stubborn, you idolizing your own self. Because you're going off what I'm thinking is what I believe, and that's just how it is. And that's an idol. You idling your own self. Selfishness.
Exactly. Let's go back, man. Verse 20.
Verse 20. Idolatry.
Idolatry is works of the flesh. Read on.
Witchcraft. Hatred. Variance.
Emulations. They want to emulate somebody in a bad manner. Because it's good to emulate people that's positive, that's keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments. But this is in a negative sense. Read on up.
Wrath.
It's not good to have wrath against your brother or your sisters. Read on.
Strife.
Guess what? It's not good to have strife against your brother or your sisters. These are the things that the flesh work. Your flesh is sin. Read on up. Seditions. Read on up. Heresies. Blasphemy against the word of the Most High God. That's heresy. Read on up.
Envy.
To envy a brother or sister because they have a little bit more. Guess what? That's breaking God's laws. You're not walking in the spirit when you're doing those types of things. Read on.
Murderers.
It's brothers out there that kill each other. And guess what? Not also talking about physically, but spiritually, man. That probably kill you more than the physical sense. You got some?
Yeah, because murdering is hating your brothers and sisters.
Exactly.
So when the smallest, see, the thing is, our people, the Most High God left a blueprint, man, of what not to do. And when Paul bringing all these different forms, this right here, this might not hit on every form of what the flesh does, but this is the biggest category that all fleshly members derive from.
Exactly.
And it just branches off.
Read on, huh?
Drunkenness.
Like we say, there's nothing wrong with drinking. Most High gave us drink to be merry when we having our feast days and gatherings. But guess what? It's a sin to be drunk. Like I hate to see our brothers down there downtown, or really everywhere on the street corners of Dallas out there being drunk. A lot of the old school brothers that really do it. You know, that's sin. We shouldn't be doing those things. Read on up.
Revelings,
going into club hopping, being all out all the time in these different places that you have no businesses. when you in those clubs, what is the main thing that you're trying to do? Pick up a sister, pick up a brother. These things add sin to sin. Because they ain't in there pulling no Bible scriptures out. Pull out a Bible scripture up in the club and see one they scatter like roaches. Read on up.
And such like of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past.
He told us in times past not to do these things, to put that off from your flesh. Read on up.
That they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
Read that last part again.
That they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
So when you dwelling in those type of things that the flesh brings, guess what? You are not going to enter the kingdom of God. You will not get there. You just want. So it's very important. That's what we tell brothers. The solutions to getting to strengthening your spirit is, guess what? Praying and fasting. We have to constantly do those things to strengthen our spirits, especially for brothers and sisters. You know, we constantly have to be strengthening our spirit. So you need to fast. Like I tell brothers and sisters, try once a month, then build up your spirit. Guess what? To go twice a month. Build up your spirit a little bit more, 3 times, then as many times as you can. Read on up.
But the fruit of the spirit is love.
But now it's the flip side to that. When you walking in the spirit, read that again up.
But the fruit of the spirit is love.
When you walking in the spirit, it's love. When we know that love is the keeping of God's commandments, according to 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. Read on up.
Joy.
Guess what? When you walking in the spirit, your spirit is joyful. Even though we know we're in captivity, it's a joy to see our brothers and sisters and the children come together on one accord. Read on up.
Hold on. And,
go ahead.
And that is love. When we be on the streets, people always say, what are y'all? You got to do, because they know a couple of scriptures from church about what is their spirit? Well, y'all not in the spirit. Yeah, we love you. That's why we telling y'all to come back to these commandments. Mm-hmm. This gives us joy when y'all come back to these commandments. Yeah. It's joy to us to know that we are trying to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Mm-hmm. That gives us joy. So when they saying that, we are possessing these fruits of the spirit.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Read that from the top again, huh?
But the fruit of the spirit is love.
Love, keeping the commandments. Read on.
Joy.
Read on.
Peace.
Guess what? Your soul be at peace when you walking in the spirit. You won't have unnecessary strife with your brothers and your sisters. You know, you have to fast, and pray. These are the things to help strengthen your spirit. Read on up.
Long suffering.
Guess what? You be long suffering to your brothers and your sisters, because there's some brothers that, hey, you just gotta bite your bottom lip. But guess what? We have to be long suffering for our brothers and sisters, because guess what? We've been wicked for 30 some years of our life, so we know it's gonna take some time to get brothers up out of that situation. You got something?
Yeah, and also on that long suffering, man. See, the thing is, you think of it just to make it get into a plain form. You just think of you touching the aisle of a stove. Ooh, that hurt. But after you touch it, guess what? That pain's still there, huh? You got to endure that pain, man, and fight through that. That's the long suffering. After it afflicts you, guess what? Endure that pain, man, because that helps build you. Now you know, guess what? I'm not going to do that no more.
Exactly.
Because the long suffering helps you in the point that you can see this thing now.
And also that long suffering, like when you're doing obeying the law, statutes, commandments, especially in a wicked kingdom, and you continue to do it, this is fruit of the spirit when you stay doing the law, statutes, and commandments in a wicked society, in a wicked kingdom. That is long suffering. It's going to be long until the Most High return. And this is the long suffering that it's talking about. Also, that we got to endure until the end. That means we got to stay in these law, statutes, because it's a hard thing to do in a wicked kingdom, in a wicked society, with temptation around each and every corner. I mean, you pick up the telephone, you pick up your phone, you go on Facebook, it's all kind of everywhere you go, but you stay in the spirit, because that's long suffering.
And that's a good point. Brothers are always making good points, because guess what? If we keep God's laws in a wicked kingdom, it wouldn't be nothing for us to keep it in the kingdom, man.
That's righteous, yeah.
You know, it would be nothing, man. So this is the trying of our spirit also, man. The Most High is not doing this for nothing. He doing this to strengthen your spirit. You know, he gonna keep coming at you till you get that type of spirit that you have off of you. You know, it's very important. It's like a workout, man. Read on up.
Gentleness.
We need to be gentle towards all brothers, sisters, and children, man. You know, like we say, think positive. If you wouldn't say it to yourself, guess what? Don't say it to your brother or sister. You know, read on.
Goodness.
Read on.
Faith.
We have to have faith in this walk. That Yahweh Shai is coming to save us. Read on up.
Meekness.
That's going into being humble. You have to have a humble spirit and being in a lifestyle of an Israelite. Read on up.
Temperance
is being in control. Exactly. All right. Read on up.
Against such there is no law.
So when you're doing those things, guess what? It's no law that you keeping the laws. That's basically what they're saying. Give me 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 5.
You're exactly right, because when you walking in all those ways, you are. You ain't got that. What's understood ain't got to be said.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I'll read that up.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 5. For if a man knoweth not how to rule his own house.
If a man know not how to rule his house, like we say, it goes into, guess what, yourself and also your household. If you don't know how to gain control over yourself or your household, your wife and your children, read on.
How shall he take care of the church of God?
How shall he do what?
How shall he take care of the church of God?
If you can't control your own spirit, you think the Most High gonna give you a job being a 144,000? That's not possible. You know, you think the Most High God gonna set you up in a congregation? You know, that's not possible. The Most High God is looking for brothers that can control their spirits and their household. You know, that's very important, man. Read on up.
Verse 6. Not a novice, least being lifted up with pride, he fall into condemnation of the devil.
Because guess what? Pride is sin too. The brothers got to put that prideful spirit off unless you fall into condemnation, man. We got to put off that prideful spirit, man. The Most High is looking for humble men and women. Give me Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1.
The book of Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1. I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called.
That vocation is going into, guess what? Your profession. You know, Most High has called us unto this profession. Read on up.
With all lowliness
in spirit, lowliness, and read on up. Read on.
And meekness.
And meekness, being a humble spirit, saying the same thing we just read in Peter's. Read on.
With long suffering.
Saying the same thing. Read on.
Forbearing one another in love.
Forbearing one another in what?
In love.
Read on.
Endeavoring to keep the unity of the spirit.
Read that from the top again.
Endeavoring to keep the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace.
We have to endeavor to keep the unity of the endeavoring to keep the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace. When we come together, guess what? This should be a bonding time of peace. We should endeavor to keep the unity amongst the congregation, man. You know, because we the only people that know what we're going through. We the only people that know how to get out of this situation. We the only people that know who they are. You know, so it's imperative that, guess what? We have unity when we come amongst each other. Jump down to verse 12. Right?
Verse 12. For the perfecting of the saints.
That's what we trying to perfect God's laws. We know that the saints is the Israelites. So this is talking to the Israelites according to Psalms 148, verse 14. Read on up.
For the work of the ministry.
Because guess what? The work of the ministry, we need work in this congregation, people. We need brothers to do certain administration. We're trying to get a building. Guess what? You know, Sister Helen the Fool, we need garments. We need these things. So we need that unity amongst each other. So everybody can know their role to play. And guess what? Play it well. Read on up.
For the edifying of the body.
For the what?
For the edifying of the body of Christ.
Because this is for the edifying of the body of Christ. This is Christ's body. None of these brothers at this table set this up. The Most High God set this up in Yahweh Shai's name, man. This is what this is all for. Read on up.
till we all come in the unity of the faith.
And we have to do this until we come into the unity of the faith. That coming together is everybody coming together on one accord. Read on up.
And of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man.
We do this till we become a perfect man. Being perfect is, guess what? Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments.
So guess what, Israel? We can be perfect.
We can be perfect. Exactly.
Unto the measure of the stature.
Hold up. Let's get that right quick. Give me Psalms 19:7, man. Because we hear that a lot. We can't be perfect. No, we can't be perfect according to the world's standards, but guess what? We can be perfect according to the Most High God. He gave us, like I said, the blueprint, the guidelines on how to be perfect. Read that up.
The book of Psalms, chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect.
So God's laws is perfect. Read on up.
Converting the soul.
So when we keep God's laws, that's what converts us into being perfect.
That's right.
Read on up.
The testimony of the Lord is sure.
That's what this testimony is sure. Read on.
Making wise the simple.
Guess what? When you get into these scriptures, guess what? You become wise. We hear it all the time when we're out there dealing with the person. Y'all know a lot of information. Guess what? It's the Most High putting that information on us by keeping His commandments. I know we know a lot of brothers that want to be wise. Guess what? Keep God's commandments, man. Read on up. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
Let's get a parable on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like if it's a football team, let's say you got a football team, they go undefeated. Let's say 17 and 0, 16 and 0 that season. Did they not have a perfect season? They went undefeated, right? So that's a perfect season. But did they do everything right? No. Was they in front every time? No. Did they make mistakes? They made mistakes through all that season. But they finished perfect at the end of the season. And that's just, I'm using a worldly term. And they be talking about we can't be perfect. Yes, you can.
That's right.
You can be perfect and still make mistakes and still be perfect. And this is what the Most High is saying. We are perfect when we go back to law, statutes, and commandments. Yeah, we might fall here and there, but when we pick ourselves up and go back to God's law, statutes, and commandments, at the end of that season, we have a perfect season. We didn't lose a game. We almost lost some games. We were behind us a couple of games. We threw interceptions in games. We fumbled in games. We got a lot of penalties in games. But at the end of the game, we still won the game.
All praise. Read verse 13 from the top again.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 13. Till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God unto a perfect man.
Unto a what?
Unto a perfect man.
Read on.
Unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ.
And that's read that last part again, man.
Unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ.
That's the ultimate goal, to come into the stature of the fullness of Yahushua. Now we know Christ walked the earth perfectly. We should follow those footprints, those blueprints. We should always examine what Christ did and follow right behind him. Jump down to verse 22.
Verse 22. That ye put off concerning the former conversation of the old man.
Guess what? Those conversations of the old man, we got to put those things off. We got to put on a holy conversation. Because like we say, you never know who's hearing you. Your children might be listening to you too. So that's why it's very imperative that we do these things. Read on up.
Which is corrupt.
Which is what?
Which is corrupt.
Because that old man that we used to be, that old woman, that old sister, guess what? That was corrupt in the Most High God's eyes. Read on up.
According to the deceitful lust.
According to our deceitful lust, like we was reading in Galatians. We got to put off the lust of the flesh. Read on up.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
Read that again.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
We have to be renewed in the spirit of our mind. Our hearts, our spirits, those things have to be renewed. And we renew them, guess what? By Psalms 19 and 7. You know, keeping God's laws. Read on up.
And that ye put on the new man.
And that we do what?
Put on the new man.
Brothers and sisters, we have to put on that new man, that new woman. Read on up.
Which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness.
And what?
And in true holiness.
Read on up.
Wherefore, putting away lying.
We have to put away that lying spirit. We got some brothers, sisters, got some strong lying spirits on them. The Most High God hate that thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
We have to put those spirits out. That's the old man. That's the old woman. Read on up.
Speak every man truth with his neighbor.
That's why you should speak the truth with your neighbor. That truth is going into the law, statutes, and commandments. Constantly be speaking these things with the Most High God. Read on.
For we are members of one another.
We are members of one another. Guess what? We can't go into the kingdom without each other, man.
Mm-hmm.
We need all 12 tribes. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, let me get a Psalms 51 and 10.
Bring it out.
Because a lot of times we need to pray that. We need to pray that prayer about getting a new heart, or getting a new mind, so that we don't be thinking like we used to think. Sometimes we be like, think we're gonna do this on our own. That's what he says. Take your problem to the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
And even David himself had to do the same thing. Read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 51, verse 10. Create in me a clean heart.
He knew he wanted a clean heart, because he know the heart he was dealing with was the old heart, the old man. So he was like, creating me a clean heart. Change the way I'm thinking. Change the way I'm doing things. Put in me so my thoughts will be on you and not on the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, and renew a right spirit within me.
That's what happens when that's what you're asking for. You want a new mind, a new way of thinking about things, a new way of doing things. Quit doing it the way you used to do it in the old world. Like he said, that was unrighteous to God anyway. So you want a different way of taking care of business, taking care of God's business. It's a different way of doing it. You can't do it like you did in the world. You can't do it. It just don't work.
Exactly.
You're in the spirit, not in the flesh no more. That's where you want to be. Read. That's it. That's it on that.
Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 31. That's a good precept, because what I was bringing out is heavy, man. We have to pray for those things, a renewed spirit, man. Praises for that. Read that up.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, and verse 31. I protest by your rejoicing, which I have in Christ Jesus, our Lord. I die daily.
What did Paul do?
I die daily.
Guess what? Walking in the Israelite lifestyle, we have to die daily, Israel. We got to put off the things that we did in the world on a day-to-day basis. It's not just going to be every now and then. You got to do these things all the time, because guess what? Like the brother said, we're in the wicked kingdom. You got wickedness on your phone. You got wickedness on your TV. You got wickedness 24/7. So you have to die daily. Put on your walk in the spirit. That's the solution to that problem. Read on up.
And brother Paul, that's one of his main ministry. It was to get away, to destroy the flesh, fleshly feelings and fleshly emotions and fleshly thoughts. Paul was a mastermind of the whole flesh, man. And he went in to show him, when he said, I die daily, he killed off his flesh daily, the spirits in his flesh, the lust in his flesh, the want in the flesh. Paul killed that off daily, man.
Exactly, man. Daily. Read, jump down to verse 36, man.
Verse 36. Thou fool.
Thou what?
Thou fool.
Read on up.
That which thou sowest is not quickening.
That which thou sowest, the things that you do is not changing your spirit. Read on up.
Except it die.
Except it what?
Except it die.
You have to be renewed in your spirit and your mind. You have to die daily on these things. Paul is giving us the example. You didn't think Paul wasn't going through these things? That's why he's letting us know. He's giving us the blueprint of what he was dealing with too. Paul dealt with the same things, man, like what we dealing with today. Give me Matthew chapter 18 and verse 1. He dealt with the same things. That's why we know what not to do now.
The book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 1. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?
Now, you know, like us, so-called Israelites, we always want to know who the best at something. So they wanted to know who was the greatest in the kingdom. Let's see what Christ was telling. Read on.
And Jesus called a little child unto him.
So he called a child unto him. Read on.
And set him in the midst of them. And said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted.
Except ye be what?
Be converted.
Now we know what converts you. That's a precept right there. Psalms 19 and 7. So all y'all put that precept right there in your Bible, because the laws is what converts you. Read on.
And become as a little child.
And become as a little child. Be retaught all over again. Like when you have a child, you don't have to tell them. You tell them something, and then guess what? They're gonna believe. The same way with this truth. You have to rethink yourself all over again. Read on up.
Ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
If you don't renew yourself as a little child, guess what? You're not going to enter into the kingdom. Putting out all those doctrines. Putting out, guess what? Thinking your way is above the Most High's way. He didn't ask us for our thoughts. He just asked us to keep his commandments.
That's right.
Read on up.
Whosoever therefore shall humble themselves as this little child.
That's what we also need to humble ourselves, especially when brothers is giving correction. You know, you have to pray the Most High give you a humble spirit. Sisters too, read on up.
The same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
Guess what? That same is going to be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Read on up.
And whoso shall receive one as such, Shalak, and whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me.
And if you receive that little child, guess what? You're receiving Yahweh shot. A precept to that humble is 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. Read on up.
But whoso shall offend one of these little ones, believe in me.
Which believe in me.
Like,
read that from the top again.
But whoso shall offend one of these little ones, which believe in me.
So when you offended one of Christ's little ones, which believe in him, guess what? That belief in is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You know, most Christ don't look at that very nicely. Read on up.
It were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depths of the sea.
That's death. Guess what? Putting one of those anchors around you and dropping you off in the Atlantic Ocean, man. You cannot recover from that.
And I bring it up. I don't know if y'all catching this parable. If y'all, you can just look around at the children in the congregation. Look, his mind is just free. And that's how we got to be in this truth, man. We got to free our mind from this world and don't care about how things look or how people see you, how they view you.
Exactly.
You got to put off all of that, man. A child don't care about nothing. A little child don't care about anything. They ain't care about no bill. They ain't care about eat. Only they know they can go eat when they need to eat. They can go flick the light on when they need to go flick the light on because they know the Lord gonna take care of them. That's the mindset we got to have, man.
And the Most High, I mean, Yahushua had cut him in the beginning. He was like, when they asked him, first of all, they wasn't humble when they was asking. They trying to figure out, well, which one of us gonna be better than the king? Yeah. And he's telling them all right now. Well, if you ain't as humble as this little child right here, you ain't gonna make it anyway.
That's right.
He already, before he even said that, now they got their mouth shut. Sit back now. Yeah. Man, they gonna listen. He cut him up. I mean, as soon as it started. Well, if you ain't as humble as a little child, guess what? Don't worry about that question at all. You know, you ain't gonna make it.
Exactly. That's a good point. It was a clear cut when you think back on it. Read verse 7 up.
Woe unto the world because of offense.
Most I say destruction to the world because of offenses. Read on.
For it must need be that offenses come.
But it's also need that offenses come. Read on up.
But woe to that man by whom the offense comes.
Read that again up.
But woe to that man by whom the offense comes.
But if you're the one giving that offense to one of his little ones that believe in him, that's the catch. The ones that's keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Because we ain't talking about regular Negroes and Mexicans that ain't keeping the laws, man. Most I'm talking about the ones that believe on him. He said destruction is going to come upon you.
And let me say something, man. Quit tripping because somebody offended you. You ain't cry. He already gave us warning. You're going to get offended in this truth. You're going to get offended. People don't like what you're doing. They look at you crazy because you just got on some friends that they have. They don't even know what about. They don't know about it. They still look at you funny. What are you doing? Then you say you don't eat pork. Oh, they really look at you crazy. Oh, man, goddamn, you don't eat bacon? What's wrong with you? You're going to get offended. So don't get the tripping because you will get offended. You're going to get offended. He warns us. He tells us, if you're doing this, it's going to happen. So don't get outrageous because somebody offended. That's the old person we were.
Exactly. Now, like we say, this is what this is all about, growing in the truth, putting on the new man, putting on that Israelite lifestyle 24/7. You got some more?
Yeah, right, that now also goes out. It also cuts that, I wish a nigga would. Because that was the old man. Because he's telling you, you're going to be offended. But guess what? The old nigga be like, I wish a nigga would offend me. I wish a nigga would disrespect me. That cuts that too. He's telling you, you are going to get offended. Accept it.
Exactly. Remember, we always got to understand Wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, man. You know, I'll take joy in this. I ain't gonna even lie. You take joy in the truth because guess what? You know something that majority of the people do not know. That lets you know what? We got an upper hand on them, man. So all we got to do is follow the commandments, follow these scriptures, and we're gonna be okay, man. We'll be all right, Israel.
Yeah, that's how, man. When I grew up, I used to love fighting. I wish a nigga would come up to me. I'm gonna buzz him across it. I loved it. I love if you gonna hit me, you hit me. All right. Watch what I'm gonna do. But then that's when I know when I got in this truth, I'm like, and then what's so bad about it? You get way more stuff coming at you in this truth than you had when you was in the world. And you be like, man, and you sit there and I know me and him talk about, we think about it, man, boy, if I was in the world, man, I don't know, I would have been nothing. I know me, I know I would have been, it'll take 5 people just to get me off of somebody, over some small. Now you like, man, well, I'm glad the Most High changed me. I'm glad he changed me because the fact of the matter is, especially in this truth, I would have went to jail so much more in this truth than I was in the world, boy.
I think that's why you say be it like children, man, because it's harder to offend a child.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they might get their feelings hurt every now and then, but it's harder to offend a child. But what they say, kids say the darn thing, because that child will offend you.
That's right.
More than anything, you be like, what the 5-year-old boy? Yeah, because you know what I'm saying, we're older to know that, you know what I'm saying, we in our feelings more about the situation than they could ever be. So
and that's true, because it is harder to offend a child, because a lot of times when the child do something bad and you whoop his tail, guess what? He ain't offended. He don't care. He just know not to do that again. Right. That's all. You can't. It's hard as heck to offend a little child. You got to really do something disturbing to offend a child.
And that's what he's saying. Like when a child has been taught, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And then you know when they'll go out there and somebody be talking about them and they'll turn right around. Sticks and stones, they break my bones. Words will never hurt me. They gone over out there, they jump back on the jungle gym and get to playing again. But that's what he's saying. Be humble. We trust in whatever we was taught according to this Bible, and because we know this Bible, so whatever somebody come with offense, sticks and stones, we quote whatever the Bible told us to quote and go on about our business.
Give me read on that. Read verse. What is that? Verse 8.
Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off.
Now, it's not, this is a parable. It's not literally saying cut it out, but if you dealing in some sins, guess what? You got to put that away. If you know that you have a porn addiction and guess what? On your phone, you got unlimited data. Guess what? Go put 1G on your phone so you don't watch that stuff no more, man. You know, we got to learn to get outside of that. If you know you got a drinking problem, guess what? Take another route going home from the liquor store.
That's right. Man.
This is the parable that the Most High God has given us. Read on up.
And cast them from thee.
And do what?
And cast them from thee.
Cast the things that you know gonna put you in sin away from you. If you know you got a mouth problem, guess what? Close your mouth. Just make it. You got to go and pray about it.
And also, you know you got a mouth problem. You know what it takes to push a person to get there. Don't do it, man.
Exactly.
You know what you finna do. Guess what? A man knows the level of his own wickedness. You know what you gonna do, man. Look, don't do it. Let it go, man.
Let it go. And guess what? When you let it go, that's having that humble spirit, man. Because we got to stop. We got to put that off as being an Israelite walking in this lifestyle, trying to always one up somebody, trying to always get the last punch. You know what I'm saying? Because you know you can never let nobody make it, man. When they hit you, man, you gotta hit them back, man. Guess what? You can't be that way in this truth, man. You know, and that's what Christ was talking about in Matthew. You know, you turn the other cheek on your brother, not the other nations, man. Let me say this again. Your brother is the nation of your people. We ain't talking about letting Esau come up and smack you in the jaw. No, you turn around and pop him. You defend yourself. We don't say pop because we ain't promoting violence, but you defend yourself against the other nations. Read verse 8.
Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halt or maimed,
read on,
rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire.
Read that again,
Rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting
rather
fire.
Than you having a whole body, guess what? Going right to the lake of fire because all of us getting burned up or getting maimed. Read on,
And if thy eye offend thee, pluck it out.
Now, with these brothers and these sisters that have lustful eyes out here, guess what? The Most High God, put your head down. I'm trying to find that precept. It's somewhere in Sirach, but I can't find it. But I got another. Give me Job chapter 31, verse 1. Let's see what Job said. If you got that problem, that lust problem, let's see what Job said. Let's see what Job's solution was.
The book of Job, chapter 31 and verse 1. I made a covenant with mine eyes.
Read that again.
I made a covenant with mine eyes.
When you having lustful eyes, guess what? Make a covenant with your eyes to either look up at the Most High God or just look down. Read on up.
Why then should I think upon a maid?
Read that again up.
Why then should I think upon a maid?
Because when you got that understanding with your spirit and your eyes, why would you even be dealing in a lustful spirit? You know, we understand with some of our sisters, we know, but guess what? You can only control what you do. Majority of the people that you see out here is not going to be in this truth. So you may see sisters dressed inappropriately. You may see the brothers dressed inappropriately because sisters have lustful eyes too, man.
That's right.
It's not just brothers.
And the thing is, you know, what make this whole situation crazy. When people see stuff, just like when you look it on the internet, you see a small picture before you press it. It's giving you an option. Should I do it or should I do it? Or you got a title and it says, man with big Guess what? You got an option. Should I look at it or shouldn't I look at it? You got an option before. Warning always come before destruction. You always got an option. Just like the brother. You see a title saying, woman with big shakes it all. Guess what? When you see that title, you got the option to go what? Do it. Should I look at it or shouldn't I look at it? You see what I'm saying? That's the thing that is going into it. It's giving you an option. Should I look at it or shouldn't I? You got to. That's why Joe went in to say, he said, I made a covenant with it. I'm not doing it.
Exactly.
I'm telling it. I'm not finna do that.
And that word covenant is an agreement.
That's right.
It made an agreement that, look, if I see something like that, I'm going to agree to my eyes. I'm going to look up. Or I'm going to look down. I'm going to look over here. So every time that the agreement he made with his eyes, when he see it, I'm going to look over here. So he keeps doing that. So guess what? You won't be looking at that lust no more. You won't be looking at that because that's what he's saying. I made a covenant. I made an agreement with my eyes that I'm looking off. And you got to sometimes. And it ain't always, it's not even the first look because you don't see people. It's not the first look when you go by and see them. It's that second look. You know, that's oh man, that double take. It's the second look because we can walk all the time. We gonna see something.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, whether it be good or bad, we gonna see it. It's when you got your neck broke and your hug. You know, looked at her so hard that you need a neck brace when you don't.
Or don't put a crap in your neck. Read on that. Verse 9.
Verse 9. If thine eyes offend thee, pluck it out.
So if you got a problem with that, guess what? You got to deal with this situation. Look down, look up, read on up.
And cast it from thee.
And do what?
And cast it from thee.
Put that sin from you. You have to pray and you have to fast on that. Fasting can help in all situations. When you have problems, guess what? Do a fast for yourself on some things. Read on up.
It is better for thee to enter into life with one eye, rather than to having two eyes and to be cast into hell.
Read on up.
Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones.
Most High Christ is giving it again. Don't despise one of these little ones. Read on.
For I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven.
Guess what? Like I brought out earlier. Guess what? Everybody got an angel that's recording, writing it down, looking at everything that you do. So when that day of judgment comes, they're going to have all your book of life and they're going to have the Bible and compare it to. And if they don't weigh out the same, guess what? It's lake of fire you go.
And that also steps into, just like even going back to Job, we talking right here, there's also you got to talk to yourself through things. Don't be over here, no, we ain't saying that. But some things you have to talk yourself through because guess what? Our spirit get vexed because guess what? We're not as little. Your mind frame is not as a little child. When your mind come back as a little child, guess what? A lot of things that you would talk yourself about, you don't care. It's just like going to apply Matthew 18:15. If you don't care about the situation, you're not going to apply it. But if you do care about it, guess what you fixing to do? You fixing to go to apply that because it's something that's in your spirit that you want to call out. But when you become that little child, everything goes away. All of that extra ordinary that goes away. It don't matter.
And I'm gonna talk a couple of things because we went over praying for a new mind or praying for a new way to think. And when you pray for a new way of thinking, a new mind change, you'll notice because, like even when I was in the world, that girl in them tights, she come by, that used to look great. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But when your mind is changing, you renewed your mind, and you put on yourself you became a new creature. Now that same woman in that same tights is disgusting. Mm-hmm. You look at her like, man, that is crazy. Why would she wear that? It's a whole different thought process. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to be doing, putting on that new man. Right. And when you putting on a new man, you don't have those same eyes no more. Mm-hmm. You don't have that same arm. You don't have that same lust anymore. And that ties into the whole thing. Putting on a new creature, new person, changing your mind, getting your mind right with this, correcting yourself by the word.
Right. Give me a precept real quick. Give me Sirach chapter 23 and we can start at verse 16, but the point is really 19, really. But I wanted to get the context of it. Read that out.
The book of Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 16. Mm-hmm. Two sorts of men multiply sin.
So it's two sorts of men that multiply sin. Read on.
And the third will bring wrath.
And this third one bring a destruction to itself. Read on.
A hot mind is as a burning fire.
So that first one is a hot mind. The Most High God don't like a prideful man. Read on up.
It will never be quenched till it be consumed.
A man with a hot mind can never be quenched. Read on.
A fornicator in the body of his flesh.
A man or a woman that's dealing in sexual sins. Read on.
Would never cease till he kindle a fire.
He would never. You can take that a bunch of ways. To the Most High, jack him up with an STD. That burning disease. Read on up.
Oh, all bread is sweet to a whoremonger.
Guess what? All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He looking at everything. He looking at Big Betty. He looking at Skinny Sue. Anything. Read on up.
He will not leave off till he dies.
And when brothers that's dealing and sisters that's dealing in the whoremonger spirit, they'll sleep with anything, man. Mm-hmm. They would not leave off till they die, till the Most High jack them up, like we say, with a disease, because that's the judgment for breaking marriage. Is STDs. Read on up.
A man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart, who seeth me?
And then a man that breaketh wedlock, the Most High, he asking, who seeth me? Ain't nobody seeing me. You think you getting up 2, 3 in the morning, creeping, riding around, looking for something? Guess what? You thinking nobody ain't seeing you? The Most High is seeing you. Read on, huh?
Guess what? And when you see somebody catch a what's it called them cases? You get arrested for prostitution and solution.
Soliciting
prostitution. That's why. Yeah.
Read that from the top again.
A man that breaketh wedlock.
Brothers and sisters, don't break your wedlock. Do not do that. Read on out.
Saying thus in his heart, who seeth me?
Who what?
Who seeth me?
Then you got your angel up here like, look at this nigga right here. Don't do that, man. Mm-hmm. Look at this Israelite right here. Look at this Israel nigga right here, man. He just writing it down, man, just shaking his head, man. Read on. Y'all, hold up. Y'all done seen that Facebook post with that angel, man. I like that. Like, damn, this nigga can't do nothing right, man. Hey, don't be like that. You always want to have a good report in the end. Read on up.
I am compassed about with darkness.
Hey, the lights ain't on. Guess what? Can't nobody see me. Read on.
The walls cover me.
The walls what?
The walls cover me.
Your tent on your door. You got that 100% tent. Most High can't see through this. Let's see what the Bible say. Read on.
And nobody see it.
Nobody see it. Me. Read on.
What need I to fear?
I guess ain't nobody gonna catch me sneaking around on my wife, sneaking around on my husband. Read on.
The Most High will not remember my sins.
Guess what? The Most High ain't gonna remember what I did, man. He gonna let me go and give me a little piece and be done with it. Read on.
Such a man only feared the eyes of me.
Such a man only feared man. Read on.
And knoweth not the eyes of the Lord.
Guess what? He don't know the eyes of the Lord. Let's see.
Are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Read that again.
Such a man feared the eyes of men, and knoweth not the eyes of the Lord. are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Guess what? The eyes of the Most High God is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Now, if you anytime you look up at the sun, try to look up at the sun at noonday. You cannot do it. The Most High eyes is 10,000 times brighter than that. Superman X-ray vision ain't got nothing on the Most High, man. So he's seeing all your little things that you trying to put away in the secret. Read on up.
Beholding all the ways of me.
Guess what? He beholding all the ways of men. You trying to get you a little piece at 3 a.m. in the morning. Read on up.
Say 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 in the morning. That ain't high nothing.
Exactly, man. Especially not from the Most High, because you know at that time what ain't nothing open but legs and 7-Eleven, man.
And
take your behind home, man.
And you said his eyes is brighter, 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Guess what? So guess what? You might look at it as being dark. He don't see dark. As letting you know, Most High God don't see no dark.
Exactly. Yeah. Cut the lights on this nigga, man. I see that, man. Read on, huh?
And concerning the most secret part.
And considering the most secret parts, man. Most High knows these things. He knows our thoughts. So he know when you trying to hide your sin in darkness, man. You cannot do it, man. Give me Titus 2, verse 7. You know, that's the becoming an Israelite. A lifestyle as being an Israelite, you won't do those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Superman can see through and see your underwear. Most I can see through and see your thoughts.
Your thoughts. Your spirit, man. Read that up.
The book of Titus, chapter 2 and verse 7. In all things, shew thyself a pattern of good work.
Read that again, huh?
In all things, shew thyself a pattern of good work.
In all things, showing thyself a pattern of good works. Being an Israelite in this lifestyle, guess what? You have to constantly show yourself a pattern of good works. You know, that's what the Most High God is looking for. Not to say you ain't gonna fall, but you want to get back up and keep trying, man. We understand. So like we understand some is harder than others, but that don't negate you from trying, man.
And see, the thing is, and that also goes into when you out here, and say for instance, you did something wrong, and then guess what? That same thing come back on you again. He want to see if he gonna do it. Then he come back on you again. He still want to see if he do it. You got to show a pattern of he ain't gonna do it. It's okay. Then I'm gonna let that angel come on back. You know what I'm saying? Because I see that he got that. He understand it, or she understand it.
And a pattern of meaning consistency.
That's right.
Something that's consistent, not jaggery, and he said of good things, of good works.
Yes.
That means it's got to be consistently good works in order to be called a pattern.
Exactly.
It can't be I'm gonna do good today, tomorrow, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna do a little dirt over here. Then I'm coming back over here. That's a pattern of bad works.
That's right.
And he said that's not what he's considering. He said a pattern of good works. A pattern of doing this all the time, doing his word all the time. That's a pattern.
Read that from the top again, up.
In all things, shew thyself a pattern of good works. In doctrine, showing uncorruptness.
In doctrine, guess what? When we out there teaching, in our doctrine, it cannot be uncorrupted. Read on.
Gravity.
Read on. Sincerity.
Sound speech that cannot be condemned.
This is really what I want. Read verse 8 again.
Sound speech that cannot be condemned.
Guess what? That's having your conversation holy that cannot be condemned. Because guess what? People is always looking to condemn our conversations, man. They always looking to catch you up in something that you said. So if you're not saying it, guess what? They can't catch you up in nothing. Read on, huh?
That he that is of the contrary part,
that he that is opposite of you, that is your enemy, read on,
may be ashamed.
May be what?
May be ashamed.
Because when they try to bring that up on you, guess what? They're going to be ashamed because guess what? It's nothing bad that you done said or nothing bad that they can bring up on you. Read on, huh?
Having no evil things to say.
Having what?
Having no evil things to say.
Having no evil things to say, because that's one of the things I want to touch on, like with the sisters. That's very important in Israel because you always want to mind yourself after sisters like Judah, sisters like Esther. Matter of fact, let's get that in Judah. Give me the book of Judah real quick.
And that's why he says, even when you do your wickedness, don't let it be spoken of. You ain't supposed to be, if you did it, you did it. But don't be out there in front of everybody where they can come back and be like, hey, because when you go back into good terms and being back in the law, statutes, and commandments, they can't condemn you on something that they saw you doing.
Judah, I'm my bad guy. Judah chapter 8, verse 8.
The book of Judah, chapter 8, verse 8. And there was none that gave her an ill word.
Read that again. Huh?
And there was none that gave her an ill word.
Sister Judith, it was none that gave her an ill word. Like I tell brothers, sisters, really, y'all should always mind yourself after Judith. You know what I'm saying? Having sisters never to have nothing ill to say about you. Guess what? The brothers either. Read that from the top again.
And there was none that gave her an ill word.
None gave her ill word. Read on.
For she feared God great.
For she did what?
For she feared God great.
Now let's go to the history of Susanna. Let's see, even the sister Susanna dealt in the same type of spirit. Susanna chapter 1, verse 27.
The book of the history of Susanna, chapter 1 and verse 27.
Now, the history of Susanna, this is a good read, especially for the sisters, man. This let y'all know what, guess what, when dire situations come up on you, and this also lets you know that, guess what, you need to have a strong spirit with what we read in Titus chapter 2, verse 8, having sound speech, so nobody can accuse you of anything. Because in this story, it was some wicked brothers that was in leadership roles that tried to accuse her of something, sleeping with other men. But guess what? She had such a perfect record that they didn't believe it. Well, at first they did, but then that prophet Daniel stepped up and judged righteously.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and condemned those brothers, man, because they already knew that she had a good report. Read that out.
The book of the history of Susanna, verse 27. But when the elders had declared their matter, the servants were greatly ashamed, for there was never such a report made of Susanna.
That's what, it was never a bad report made of Susanna. So they knew something wasn't quite right. But you know, when it was brothers, wicked brothers in leadership, they thinking that these are the Most High God's holy men. So they kind of took their word for it until Daniel the prophet stepped in. But y'all should pattern y'all lives after these sisters, after our foremother Mary. These are the sisters that y'all should be imitating, not what's her name? Nicki Minaj. None of those wicked sisters like that, man. Dressing all out of order, man. You know, women should carry themselves in an Israelite lifestyle manner too, constantly. Let's go back. You got something?
Yeah, and also like I bring it out, you know, even in the man state, they're like when Christ, they try to catch Christ up with his conversation. Even the brother Paul, they did him the same way, you know. And brother Paul, when they were trying to persecute Paul, Paul said, "Man, y'all accuse me of things that y'all can't prove." He said, "I never taught in the synagogue nor offended anybody." So guess what? That's the same thing. The sister was walking out the same light. Everybody got to walk the same light, man, into the perfection of the Most High God, into His Son Yahushua.
Give me 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5 and verse 8. But if any provide not for his own,
going to tell how the men supposed to conduct themselves as being Israelite in his lifestyle. Read on.
And especially for those of his own house, he had denied the faith.
Because guess what? It's a commandment for the men to provide for his household. That's a commandment in Israel. That's what it's a commandment. Guess what? We provide for the congregation as well, man. You know, these things don't support themselves. Like we're trying to build brothers and sisters up spiritually to understand these things. We have to come together as a body. Like we said, we're trying to get a building. You know, we need this, we need that. We got high holy days coming. We need everybody to pitch in and do their part. Read on up.
He had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
So when a brother is not providing for his household, guess what? He had denied the faith and is less than an infidel. An infidel is a non-believer. You know, give me 1 Peter 3 and 1. So it's very important that brothers, you got to provide for your household. Very important.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
Read that again.
Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
That's touching on the wives a little bit. Ye wives, be in subjection unto your own husbands. That's a commandment from the Most High God. You know, we understand, guess what? When brothers is not judging righteously or dealing righteously with their wife, guess who's going to jack them up? The Most High God is going to jack them up. But you are supposed to be in subjection unto their husband, even if he do make a bad decision. You know, the Most High God, guess what? The Most High God is seeing that. He ain't letting that slide, man. Most High will correct him because that is his head. Read on up.
That if any obey not the word,
that if any obey not the word, read on.
They also may, without the word, be won by conversation of the wise.
Because guess what? A lot of times when you don't have sisters in this truth, guess what? The conversations that they hear y'all have, guess what? That might bring them into the truth when they seeing y'all in order, seeing how y'all talk, seeing how they carry yourselves. So we always have to be mindful of these things. And that's what this scripture is going into. Read on up.
While they behold your chaste conversation,
your holy conversation, your what's the word? I just use holy. Read on up.
Coupled with fear.
Coupled with fear. So sisters, guess what? Y'all role is important in the nation of Israel too. You know, because the younger sisters see y'all, and y'all are to set the example on how they should carry themselves, on how they should talk, on how they should love their husbands, on how they should love their children and guide the household, man. It's very important because a lot of times sisters weren't raised to be that way. You know, we know some sisters know, but majority of our sisters wouldn't. So it's very important that we sisters set the guidelines. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 5:16.
Yeah, it's because I was at work the other day and I was
hold up, verse 7. Go ahead.
I was having a conversation with a brother. And, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I still gotta get that. I was nigga this and nigga that, you know what I'm saying? And the brother came around the corner, he like, dang, bro, for you to be able to teach a man, preacher, man, you showed got that same old spirit on you like you still did in the word. I had to hold myself and go to that brother and tell him, man, you right.
I'll praise for
I'm
that.
working on that myself, just trying to get up out there. There's some words that I used to say, just, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Exactly.
Like for real, because we don't know who we can touch and who is listening to us. While
exactly.
And then other scriptures you've been bringing out because they will try to use whatever they can against us, man.
Right. And that's the walk we got to walk in Israel. We can't leave no stone unturned. It's paramount for us to come to do thus said the Lord, and to let our light shine. It's not just wearing fringes or just making it look good just because of what our clothes look like.
Like what they say, shalom.
Shalom. Yeah,
you know how they say, bro, shalom, ma. You know, it's more than to it than just that, man.
Shalom, all praise to the Most
High. It sounds good, exactly.
Just speaking the Hebrew, and dang, he can speak the Hebrew, but then he going home and they're about to kill his wife, chasing her around the house, beating her up. That's not Israel, man. That's not of God, man. That's personal.
That is. That's exactly what it is. I forgot to left off a precept on 1 Peter 3. Go jump down to verse 7.
Verse 7. Likewise, husband, dwell with them according to the knowledge.
We're supposed to dwell with our wives according to knowledge. Read on, like.
Let's go to verse 6.
Go ahead,
Verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord.
Matter of fact, jump up to verse 5.
Verse 5. For after this manner, in the old time, the holy women also.
The what?
The holy women also.
The holy women. This is talking about y'all. Y'all are separate from all other women on the face of the planet, man. Read on up.
Who trusted in God.
Who did what?
Who trusted in God.
Who kept his commandments. Read on.
Adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husband.
Being in subjection unto their own husband. Read on.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord.
Calling him what?
Calling him Lord.
That's what they're just showing respect to your husband. That's all that is. It's nothing. We're not trying to put the husband over your house, but guess what? That's a respect that you should want to give.
And the thing is guess what? This is not a commandment for you to call him Lord. So it's not get this thing. It's not a commandment for that. But guess what? If that's something that you choose to do and you have respect for him like that, guess what? Call him Lord. That's what Sarah had. She had a found respect for her husband. And that's what she called him. You know, to show him, look, that's my Lord. Because that is your head. That is a head. Just like we got a head too. We call our head what? Lord.
Read that from the top again, verse 6.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughter ye are.
Because y'all are the daughters of Sarah. Read on.
As long as ye do well.
But he said, but as long as you do well, as long as you keep the commandments and the faith in Yahweh shall. Read on.
And are not afraid with any amazement.
And not afraid with any amazement. Read on, huh?
Likewise, ye husband, dwell with them according to the knowledge.
Now, guess what? It's a flip side to it too, because guess what? The husband also got to dwell with his wife according to knowledge. Read on, huh?
Giving honor unto the wife.
That's what it's okay for a man to give honor unto his wife. You know, there's none of these brothers in here putting down the sisters. Guess what? Or bashing the sisters. We here to uplift our sisters as well, man. Read on up.
As unto the weaker vessel.
As unto the what?
As unto the weaker vessel.
Give honor unto her according to knowledge, because guess what? She is the weaker vessel. The Most High, it give us the understanding, but guess what? It's some sisters that know some precepts out there, but it's also the job of the man, guess what? To reinforce those precepts, to make sure that they going about it the right way, that they getting the understanding. Read on up.
As being heirs together.
Because we are heirs together. Read on.
Of the grace of life.
Of the grace of what?
Of the grace of life.
Read on up.
That your prayers be not hindered.
That their prayers be not hindered when they go up, or when our prayers go up. Now give me so brothers, we got to dwell with our wives, man. You know, we got to understand that they are the weaker vessel. Sisters are emotional creatures. You ain't just up in your household ruling like a lion. You got to understand. Now, like we tell sisters, correction is not bashing. It's a difference. Now, if a man is doing that, guess what? We do not condone that. That is wrong. We here to uplift and to be positive with our sisters, but guess what? We're not gonna play with them.
Because guess what? Don't get in your mind that your husband can't tell you nothing.
Yeah.
It's not set up that way. Guess what? If he's your Lord, guess what? If he's following thus said the Lord, he's gonna be he's gonna be held. Whatever he tell you, guess what? The angel's looking like, go ahead. I want you to say something. Because this gonna go a strike against you too. Because that's how that thing works, man. So if he telling you something, sometimes you guess what, you need to start listening.
And that's a part that has a lot to do with humbling your spirit.
That's right.
We know this society has reversed the roles, but guess what? We got to come back to what these scriptures say. Right, it says, be in subjection unto your own husband. And then you take it back to the beginning, Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. And thy desire shall be unto thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Like we say, that's not an unrighteous rulership. It's not you my slave. Do this, do that. Right. No, that's not what that's talking about. It's just saying, guess what? He is the leader of that house. He makes the decisions. Read that out.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception.
Guess what? He did that because she didn't follow her man. She didn't follow the guidelines. She didn't follow the laws. So that's why y'all have pain when y'all giving birth. Read on.
In thy sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
And in thy sorrow you bring forth children. Read on.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband.
Read that again. Now.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband.
If sisters is married out here, guess what? Your desire is to your husband. Read on. Now.
And he shall rule over thee.
He shall rule over thee. Guess what? He is your head. Brother, that is not your slave, brother.
It's not.
Read that last part again.
And he shall rule over thee.
No, and he got a slave up in the house.
And he shall rule over thee.
Brother, you ruling over them. Guess what? And you rule righteously.
That's right.
You're not ruling unrighteously. You know, you dwell with the sister according to knowledge, man. You know, let's go back. Oh, now we through on that. Give me a Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 16.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 16. Therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand.
So when that time comes, we'll receive a beautiful crown and the kingdom. Read on.
For with his right hand shall he cover them.
For with his what? Christ is the right hand of the Most High God. Read on up.
And with his arm shall he protect him. He shall take him his jealousy.
Read that again. He shall take to him.
He shall take to him his jealousy for complete armor.
For what?
For complete armor.
When you walking in this lifestyle as being an Israelite, you have to put on a complete armor to shed you from all the wickedness of this world. Read on up.
And make the creation his weapon.
And make the creature.
And make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemies. He shall put on the righteousness of a.
Read that over.
He shall put on the righteousness is a breastplate.
He shall put on righteousness as a breastplate. So we know that righteousness is the keeping of God's commandments according to Deuteronomy 6:25. So you want to make sure, guess what? In an armor, you got things to put on to protect you. God's laws is what's protecting us from this wicked kingdom. So you want to put on God's laws to cover your chest. So guess what? They won't shoot those fiery darts that can pierce through your chest. You know, that's the first thing. Read on up.
And true judgment instead of in helmet.
So you want to put on true judgment for your helmet, you know, to protect you from all the philosophies and the doctrines of these other nations, man. Read on up.
He shall take holiness for an invincible shield.
And guess what? You have holiness to protect you like a shield. This precepts
with invincible shield.
Read that again. All praise.
He shall take holiness for an invincible shield.
And I'm glad because I caught that too. Guess what? When you have an invincible shield, none of what this world can throw at you gonna penetrate that shield, man. That's what we got to put on this whole armor of the Most High God. That's being in this lifestyle. That precepts with Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. The armor of God, because a lot of people love to say that the Apocrypha is not a part of the Bible, but it's pulling the same precepts out of the Bible, man. That's what that precepts to. Is that it on that? Verse 20.
Verse 20. His
severe wrath.
His severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword.
Shall he do what?
Shall he sharpen for a sword?
His severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword. Guess what? That wrath is the scriptures. Learning how to cut people with these scriptures, man. That's your sword that you take on. You beat people down with the scriptures, but guess what? You also want to make sure that you building them back up with the scriptures too, though.
I'm telling you something. Last week, all of us brothers probably been rocking on the street with each other 3 years or probably a little bit more than 3 years. When those two sodomites came out there, I'm gonna explain something to you. They was not ready for what the Bible was really telling them. They thought about philosophy of the world. The one was trying to pull the other one away, but the one that stood there, he got a different light that he didn't receive, because he didn't know that we can judge according to the Bible. But when I broke it down to him and showed him, the brother humbled himself down. Said, "Yeah, y'all can't judge me."
He humbled before, because he said, if it's in that Bible, I believe it.
That's right.
And when he pulled that scripture and read that scripture, he said, "Y'all can judge."
And then the other said, "Bring your tail on." But the thing is, in the middle of that darkness, it was light there.
Right.
So that's the sword that he brought out. He stuck his sword down and ching, there you go. This is for you. So maybe one day that brother might even come up out of it. You don't know. But that little light that he got might help that brother to come into the light of this word of the Most High God.
My bad. Like the same thing with that sister. The one that was I think from New Orleans that was rebellious. She stood out there, and after a while, them scriptures was eating her up at first. She was going against it. But they stayed out there because brothers giving their edification, and guess what? She humbled herself to be like, man, you know what? Y'all are right. So the scriptures did eat her up and tear her up at first, when they built her right up.
That's right.
Because she was already trying to be on the right path. Just was rebellious. So that's what.
Matter of fact, let's get that. Give me Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. This is one of my favorite precepts too. Basic precept all brothers should know, especially ones that's out there teaching on the streets, because that's what the Bible is. It's a sword. It cuts both ways. It's a double-edged sword. Read on.
The book of Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. For the word of God is quick.
So this Bible is, the word of God is quick. Read on.
And powerful.
And what?
And powerful.
And what brothers was bringing out, that was powerful out there. Read on.
And sharper than any two-edged sword.
Guess what? This Bible cut through anything, man. Read on up.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit.
Guess what? This blade that the Bible wields, it cuts to your spirit, man. That's what we tell brothers. We don't need to fight our people, man. All you got to do is read the scriptures. Right. The scriptures will convict their spirit, man. We're trying to reach that spirit that's in that body. Read on up.
And of the joints and marrow.
Guess what? It's cutting to the joints, and guess what? It's even cutting to the marrow, the things that's in the bones. Read on up.
And is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
It makes a difference to let you know what's right and wrong within your heart. That's what this Bible does. Let's go back. Oh no, we was doing that. Give me 1 Peter 4:12.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 12. Beloved, think it not a strange.
Read that again. Yeah.
Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial.
And we know that beloved, once again, the precept to that is Baruch chapter 3, verse 36. Israel is the beloved of God. Read that from the top again.
Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trials which is to try you.
Guess what? We shouldn't think it's strange the fiery trials that is to try us. When they come upon us, we should automatically know, guess what? This is the Most High trying to strengthen my spirit. This is the Most High trying to build me up. So guess what? We should take that joyfully, man. Because the Bible gives us the solutions to combat it. Read on up.
As though some strange things happen unto you.
So when it comes to you, don't think it's something strange that doesn't happen to you. Because the Most High is not going to give us more than what we can bear. So y'all should be able to identify those trials now through the scriptures.
Man, I don't even care if you sitting there watching TV, you told yourself 100 times, I'm gonna stop watching this all day long. And then guess what? And now your eye pop out your head. Oh, now don't think it's strange. Don't think things strange. You're telling you, hey man, giving you a blueprint. Hey, when certain things, guess what? That's probably consuming too much of your time, and now it's becoming that's being your God. Anything that you do to more than what you do for the Most High, that becomes your God. If you guess what, put all your time in your house and not read your word, guess what? Your house is your God. If you wash your car every day and do this, and you don't put that much time into God, that's your God. You got to know the what you doing. You know what you got.
No, that's it on that. Give me 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. Because we giving the solutions to live an Israelite lifestyle. These are all the solutions. This is another important one too.
2 Corinthians.
Yeah, 2 Corinthians 6 and 14.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
The Most High God said, don't commune around with a lot of sinners. Because guess what? If your spirit is not strong enough, they can sway you back into the world. Read that from the top again.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Don't be yoked together with unbelievers, people that deal in a lot of sin. If you know you got a smoking problem and you hang around a brother that smoke marijuana, guess what? You shouldn't do that, because that can get you to fall back into smoking and to break God's commandments. You know, if you doing such and such with Granny, she love to cook pork. Hey, guess what? I know that's Granny, but you can't deal with it on that level until you get your spirit strengthened. That's what this is all about. It's really on you. You know, read on up.
For what fellowship had righteousness with unrighteousness?
What fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness? They can't deal with each other. Read on up.
What communion had light with darkness?
What communion had light with darkness? Read on up.
And what concord had Christ with Baal?
Baal going into the devil. Read on up.
Or what part had he believed with an infidel?
It just makes no sense. Give me James 5 and 7. You know, and that's
yeah, and that's another thing. If you're not married, don't go get nobody that's in the world, and because you're unequally yoked. I mean, there's not gonna be. Then you be mad at, oh, nothing changed. I'm going through this. Yeah, you're supposed to go through that because he told you not to do it.
And that's a good point. Like the Bible say, prove people. You have to. If, like I said, that's a good point, man. That's you making a righteous decision, because that's unnecessary problems that you don't have. Now, we know some brothers, a lot of sisters came into this truth already married. So that's not talking to you. We talking to the brothers and sisters that's not yet married.
Unmarried.
Yeah, unmarried. Not yet married. Read that up.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 12.
James 5 and 7.
It's a lot.
This is another important quality to have and living a Israelite lifestyle. Read that up.
Okay. The book of
James, chapter 5, verse 7.
The book of James, chapter 5 and verse 7. Be patient, therefore.
Be what?
Be patient, therefore, brethren.
Be patient with your brother and your sisters in this walk, people. You know, like we said, we're gonna be patient, but we're not gonna play with it. You know what I'm saying? Read on up.
Unto the coming of the Lord.
Unto the coming of the Lord. So we got to be patient until the Most High comes. Read on up.
Behold, the husbandman.
Behold the who?
The husbandman.
Because Christ is our husband. We espoused unto Christ. Read on.
Waited for the precious fruit of the earth.
Waited for the what?
The precious fruit of the earth.
Guess what? That's the kingdom. That's the precious fruit of the earth. Immortality, the tree of life. Read on up.
Had long patience for it.
And have long patience for it. That long patience going into long suffering too. Read on up.
Until he have received the early and latter rain.
Until you have received the early and latter rain. Give me Romans 12:1.
The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brother, be merciful of God. So like, be mercy.
Read that from the top again.
I beseech you, brethren.
I beseech you, therefore.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, be the
by the mercies
of God, that ye present your body a living sacrifice.
That you do what?
Present your body a living sacrifice.
In this lifestyle, guess what? We constantly gonna be presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice, putting in the work, doing this. Sisters attending the kitchen, brothers attending classes, brothers putting up classes, brothers putting up videos, doing all these things. We sacrifice them for the Most High God. We are supposed to do that in the walk. That also builds up our spirit. And guess what? That also keep us idle from dealing in this wicked kingdom. Idleness teaches much wickedness. So if you're sitting around not doing nothing, guess what? Your mind has time to think and dwell on the wickedness of this world. The Most High wants us to work, man, to keep our minds off those things, especially amongst the building up of our body in the congregation. Read on up.
Holy.
Holy what?
Holy. Acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
This is our reasonable service. Your service is going into your job. This is our job while we're here on earth, to build up our nation, to restore the decayed state of our people. You shouldn't want no better job than that, man. To teach our people that we God's chosen people, man, to raise them back up. Give me Proverbs 17:22.
And you said that too, because Christ has said we'll be doing greater works than what he had did. And think about it. He raised a few people from the dead. We raising a nation from the dead. And that's every time we go out in the streets, that's what we're trying to get back to, bring somebody back to life. And that is resurrection. Although we don't think of it as, we think about it as a dead body. I need to make you get up. Well, look out. There's a lot of dead bodies out there.
Give me Proverbs chapter 17, verse 22.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 17, and verse 22. A merry heart doeth good.
Read that again, huh?
A merry heart doeth good.
So guess what? That's also important. You want to constantly have a merry heart in this truth. Because people can see your countenance when you come through the door, when you walk through the door. You know, I always have a merry countenance, a merry spirit. Read on up.
But a broken spirit dried the bone.
Read that again, huh?
But a broken spirit dried the bone.
Hey, when your spirit is broken, guess what? That can put a damper on the whole congregation. So it's imperative that brothers and sisters build up their spirits, man. Come through that door, especially on the Sabbath class, hey, with a positive attitude. You know, ready to learn something, ready to contribute any way that you can. You know, give me Deuteronomy 6 and 7. I forgot to bring this out earlier, even for the children.
The book of Deuteronomy,
chapter 6, verse 7. My bad.
Chapter 6 and verse 7. Thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
So we should teach the law, statutes, and commandments diligently unto our children. Guess what? They got to walk in this lifestyle too. Read on up.
And shall talk of them when thou sittest in thine house.
So when you sitting in your house with your children, guess what? Y'all is talk about the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. Talk about building them up, because guess what? They gonna replace us, you know. So that's an important job. Read on up.
When thou layest down.
When thou layest down, when you're about to go to sleep. Read on.
And when thou risest up.
And when you rising up, when you awake, y'all should be talking about the laws. Read on.
And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand.
Read verse 7 again. Start back up there.
Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way.
When you walking, read on.
When thou layest down.
When you lie down, read on.
And when thou risest up.
Read on.
And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand.
And you shall bind them upon a sign for a sign upon thy hand. Read on.
And they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes.
That frontlets is an ornament that you used to wear. They used to wear in the days between their eyes to remind them to keep the commandments. They may have some commandments written on them and all type of stuff, but it's just letting you know, guess what? Always meditate and think on the law, statutes, and commandments. Right. That's really a similitude going into that. Not to actually put that on between your eyes. Read on up.
And thou shalt write them upon the post of thy house.
Now, guess what? This is okay to post up God's laws in your house. Because, seeing is believing. So they can see it constantly. Keep God's laws. Do this, do that. Read on up.
And on thy gates.
And on thy gates. If you have a home, guess what? It's a good thing to put them up on your gates. Let them know, hey, we keep the laws of the Most High God in this place, in this house. So that's very important that we teach our children these things too. They're not excluded from this. Give me 1 Timothy 1:9.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 1 and verse 9. Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man.
Read that again, huh?
Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man.
That's what the laws weren't made for a righteous man, because if you're righteous, you keeping God's laws anyway. Read on up.
But for the lawless,
the sinners, read on.
And disobedient.
That's who the law was made for, because we got some real knuckleheads out there that don't like to keep God's laws, man.
And reading this verse right here on the corner state of mind, you got to understand it. Guess what? A Christian and a person that is not seasoned in the scripture, a Christian that use this and bash the law. It tell you that you can't keep those, man. See, the thing is, but when you looking at these scriptures in the spiritual eye, they can't take you from it.
And the thing about it is, so everybody in Israel, this law is made for, because all of us was unrighteous. So this law is for all of us. So there ain't no exclusion nowhere. Ain't even no room nowhere, no how. Nobody in the nation of Israel today can say, "Oh no, I've been righteous all my." No, none. So this law is for us.
Exactly. I read that from the top again.
Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for sinners.
Read on.
For unholy and profane.
That's who it's made for. Read on up.
For murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind.
Going into homosexuality, read on.
For man stealers,
women that want other men's husbands and steal them, read on.
For liars, for perjured persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to the sound doctrine.
That's who the law was made for. So guess what? When we living in this lifestyle, we got to keep these laws, man. If you unrighteousness, pray and repent on that thing, man. Give me James chapter 4, verse 17.
So if you're doing any of that, the law for you. Any one of them. There's any one of them. If you've done any one of them, the law is for you.
Read that out.
The book of James chapter 4 and verse 17. Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good and do it not.
So if you know to do good and you do it not, if you know that we keep going over these things over and over and you not doing it, read on.
To him it is sin.
To him it is what?
To him it is sin.
To the Most High that's breaking his commandments. And it also goes into willful sin.
That's right.
So that's a precept to that, right? Hebrews 10 and 26 right there. So when you know these things and you don't do it, guess what? That goes into sin adding to sin. You being rebellious, you being stubborn, you being willfully sinning. It goes into a number of sins. Give me this last precept. I'll give you James 1:22.
The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 22. But be ye doers of the word.
That's what the Bible is all about. The Bible is an action book, man. He wants you to do his words, not just say them and speak them. Read on.
And not hearers only.
Don't just hear the word. Read on.
Deceiving your own self.
When you hearing and not doing it, guess what? You deceiving your own self. Thinking that you're going to make it to the kingdom, and guess what? The angels going to close the gates on your behind. Read on.
But for if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer.
If you hear the word and you not a doer, read on.
He is like unto a man beholding a natural face in a glass.
He is like a man beholding his natural face in a glass. Read on.
For he beholdeth himself and goeth.
For he beholdeth himself. He seeth himself in that glass. Read on.
And goeth his way.
And go, and then once you leave that mirror of that glass, you leave and go your own way. Read on.
And straightway forget what manner of man he was.
And guess what? When you see yourself and you leave that glass, guess what? If you're not keeping these commandments, it's just like you forgetting who you was. You know, that's what that image is, that's similar to this going into. Read on.
But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty.
The perfect law of liberty is not the sacrificial law. But now we got a liberty that we got grace to get it right. Read on up.
And continue therein. He being not a forgetful hearer.
Don't be a forgetful hearer, brothers and sisters that hear the laws, and then once they leave, when we out there teaching, they just done forgot everything that we just done taught them. Read on up.
He being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the word.
But a what?
A doer of the word.
That's what we're trying to get brothers and sisters to be, a doer of the word. Read on up.
This man shall be blessed in his deeds.
This man shall be what?
Blessed in his deeds.
This man shall be blessed in his deeds. And with that, we say shalom.
Shalom. Give it law.
Yeah.
We can, right, yeah. I was gonna put it one honor thy. Let's see that. Yep, we bring. That's a good one.
Read it out.
Hold on. What is it? Deuteronomy 4 and 2.
That's a good one.
I guess. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and verse 2. Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you.
So after each class says, like we always tell brothers, so we tell them to keep the law. So a lot of times they don't know what the laws are. It's over 613 laws. 4 and 2. And we're gonna read that from the top again.
Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you.
Read the book in
the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and verse 2. Ye shall not add unto the word.
So we shouldn't add unto the Most High God's words. It says what it says. Right. You cannot play semantics with the word. Try to get some wiggle room out of it. Read on.
Which I command you.
Which God command us. Read on.
Neither shall ye diminish out from it.
So we should, guess what? We should diminish out from it. If it says, guess what? Do it. Guess what? We have to do it. Read.
Look at this. Thank you, sir.
We don't know.
That ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you.
So guess what? It's a commandment for us not to do that. That is a law. Like we tell brothers and sisters, we have a GoFundMe page up. We want brothers and sisters to help donate to the cause, to help us push this truth to the four corners of the earth. You know, we'll be celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles starting tomorrow. Brothers and sisters, hey, y'all more than welcome to come, man. We are here for our brothers and sisters, man, that follow us. You know, call us, man. Reach out to us, man. We'll answer all questions, man.
Our information is on the web, is on the YouTube page. Our contact information is on YouTube page too.
Help us push these truths. Share the videos. Share the GoFundMe page, man. You know, we all got to do our works. Even though brothers and sisters is not physically here with us, guess what? Y'all can be and put in this works spiritually. And there's other ways that y'all can use y'all administrations. That's right. You know, with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, I said, well, y'all be